badge reader beeped green. The door I had just locked was open again. And somewhere down the corridor, a chair was rolling, slow, across a floor where no one was supposed to be. There is a version of the world that only exists after 2 a.m. The same buildings, the same hallways, but emptier, quieter. The hum of the lights becomes a presence. The shadows stop being shadows and start being decisions you have to make. The people who work the night shift learn this fast. They learn which sounds the building makes on its own. And they learn the exact moment the sound stops belonging to the building. Tonight, 3 of them. 3 people who clocked in for an ordinary shift and clocked out changed. Their words. Cleaned up, only enough to follow. Nothing added that they didn't swear was real. Listen with the lights on. Case 1. A hospital with the extra patient. She was a registered nurse, 11 years, on geriatric overnight. A quiet floor. Most of her patients slept through the night, and the ones who didn't, she knew by name. Around 3 a.m., the call light blinked on for room 14. Bed 2. What? She checked the board, and something didn't fit. Bed 2 had been empty for 3 days. The patient had been discharged. The bed was stripped. She walked down anyway. Habit. The light was still blinking when she pushed the door. The room was dark. Bed 1, her actual patient, was fast asleep. And in bed 2, the stripped, empty bed, the sheets were pulled up, tucked, as if someone were lying underneath them, very still, very flat. She told herself it was laundry, a bundle left behind. She reached for the light switch, and the call button, the one hanging on the cord by bed 2, was pressed into the mattress, held down by nothing she could see. She backed out. She told the charge nurse. They reset the system, blamed a short. But she said the part that stayed with her wasn't the bed. It was that, when she finally turned to leave, a voice from bed 2, thin, polite, exactly like an old woman asking for water, said, came. 2 words, and then the sheets settled flat. Completely flat, like there had never been anything underneath at all. She finished her shift. She never took room 14 again. Case 2. The warehouse and the man who clocked in twice. He worked security at a distribution center off a highway. 40 acres of shelving under a metal roof. Motion-activated lights. You walk, and the building wakes up one zone at a time ahead of you, then goes dark behind you. He liked that. It meant he always knew if he was alone. That night, the system logged a second entry. His own badge, used at the east door at 1:14 a.m., while he was sitting at the desk by the west door, watching the camera. He pulled up the east camera. The door was open, and the lights were on, deep in aisle 9, far back where no one had walked. So he went to check. And here's the thing he kept repeating. As he moved toward aisle 9, the lights came on ahead of him, the way they should. But the lights in aisle 9 were already on, which meant the motion sensors had been triggered by something already standing there. He walked the full length. Nothing. Empty aisle. He turned to come back. And the lights behind him, the ones he just walked under, came on again. One after another. A line of them. Switching on in sequence, moving toward him. The exact pattern a person makes. Someone walking up the aisle behind him. At a steady, unhurried pace. He could see the lights. He could not see who was making them. He didn't run. He said, running felt like admitting it could catch him. He walked, fast, to the desk, and he watched on the cameras as the lights kept coming on, all the way to the west door, and then stopped, right outside the office glass. The motion log that night recorded a final event. West door interior, by the year, 1:41 a.m. He was already inside, sitting still, hands flat on the desk. He quit the next morning. Said the job was fine. Said it was a second badge swipe. His badge. His exact ID number. He had never once let it out of his sight. Case 3. The toll booth at the bottom of the hour. She ran a toll booth on a rural bypass, the kind that barely sees traffic after midnight. Headlights every 20 minutes, if that. Mostly she read. Mostly she watched the dark road feed slowly into her little pool of light. Around 3:30, a car rolled up. Older model, headlights off, which was strange, but not unheard of. She slid the window open, said her line, held out her hand for the toll. There was no driver. The seat was empty. The wheel was turned slightly, the way a wheel sits when someone has just let go of it. The engine was running, and the passenger seat, the back seats, all empty. The car simply sat there at her window, idling, patient, as if waiting for her to do her part. She told herself someone had ducked down. A prank. She leaned out to look closer, and every other light in the booth went out. The lane lights, radiant, the overhead, the little lamp by her register. Everything, except the headlights of the car, which were now on, pointed straight at her, though she had watched them be off. In that wash of light, she saw her own shadow thrown huge against the back wall of the booth, and standing inside her shadow, sharing it, layered into it, slightly too tall, was a second shape that did not move when she moved. She hit the alarm. The light snapped back. The car was gone. No sound of it leaving. The boom gate was still down. A car cannot pass a lowered gate. It had not raised. It had not lifted. She told her supervisor the gate malfunctioned. She did not mention the shadow, but she asked, very quietly, to be moved to days. They moved her. They didn't ask why. She got the sense, from the way they didn't ask, that she was not the first. And that's the part that stays with you, isn't it? Not the ghost. Not the empty bed or the walking lights or the driverless car. It's the quiet way the buildings keep their own records. The extra swipe. The reset system. The supervisor who doesn't ask. As if somewhere, someone is keeping count of how many people work the night shift and how many of them really come back. If you work nights, you already know the sound the building makes on its own. So, here's the only thing that matters. The next time you hear something that doesn't belong to it, don't go check. Just clock out. Sleep well if you can, and if these files kept you up, subscribe to Midnight Files so the next one finds you first.